All right, so as I said, and I think this is also what I'm gonna do. This is my schedule. So you can see we're here, right, on Tuesday. So then I put this here on Friday. So this will be my online piece. If I want to do something online for you, I'll do it on Friday. Probably won't come up until Friday night, so I wouldn't go looking for it until then. If nothing comes up, that just means nothing happened. If I put something up other than Friday, like I do it on Saturday, because I was behind, I'll send you all an email so you know, okay? But I think what I'm gonna do is, kind of with this space, is I'm just gonna do a lab. Informal lab, I'll be in here Friday after my statics class, which is like 10 a.m. Probably hang out in here until noon or 1. So if you needed SolidWorks help, you could come, be like an open lab. I'm going to extend it to my GE115 students, which is the AutoCAD students also. They can come, right? I'll probably extend it to my online dynamics class also. They could come, right? So it's kind of just an open time where I'll be here if you need help. So sometimes that's nice, especially when we get into assemblies. Part manufacturing is not too difficult. I mean, it's difficult to make a difficult part, but you don't get stuck kind of thing. Assemblies, you can get stuck, like, and that's just a waste of time. So you just need to get unstuck so you can keep going on your assembly. So sometimes that's nice to come in and get help. Okay. All right, let's talk about the class. I think you kind of get how it's going to work. We're in class on Tuesday, and then there'll be online stuff on Friday. We essentially are just going to go through the software. We're going to get to assemblies. We'll get to the beginning part of motion. So an assembly is just bringing parts together. Parts are just parts, right? So most of the things in the real world, in our world, are assemblies. There's very few just single part things out there. But we start with single parts just to learn how to model, right? And then we go to assemblies, and then we'll go to drawings and make drawings of our parts. And then we'll go to some motion, and then we'll be done by about then. Okay, but we get quite a ways with SolidWorks. Like we can progress in 10 weeks pretty quickly. But we got to get the drawing part down too, because that's obviously what we do with the part after we get the part modeled, is we make a drawing, and then that's what typically we share with we're just going to build this thing for us, right? All right, let's look at the syllabus. So for those of you that don't know how I do this, I just do it week by week. It'll say week 1, week 2, week 3. And then the calendar kind of tracks what we do. So it looks like today we're going to have an intro. That's what we're getting right now. We're going to hopefully do a software download. If you're downloading, today's kind of time to get that done. And I do want to hear about whether you get it done or not in the submission area. So that's what this thing's all about. I have some points associated with it. So if you're going to do a download, do it, and then let me know how that goes, right? Let me know what you downloaded on. Like if it's a Mac and it works, then other people can see that and maybe reach out to you, right? If you're not going to download it, then just put that in there. Like, nope, not going to download it. I'm just going to use the stations at the school. Okay. All right. That just gives me an idea. I just want to know that everyone has access to it. That's what I need to know. And then we have an assignment that I'll talk about that you're going to do this week. So that's kind of how this calendar thing is going to work, is we'll just track it on here. Right? Week 1, week 2, week 3, and we'll go through the term. College is closed here. That's a holiday. Last day to drop is here with a refund. All right. Back to the syllabus. So pretty straightforward. You can read through it, but here's the grading, and it's pretty simple grading. So the homework are the labs that we do that I have you submit. And I don't have you submit absolutely every lab, but most of them, whatever you do, you're going to submit. You're going to submit the SolidWorks file and normally some kind of image of it, like a PDF or an image. And I'll show you how to do that in SolidWorks. It's pretty simple to do. That allows me to look at it with my phone if I wanted to look at it with my phone. If you just upload the SolidWorks part, I need SolidWorks to look at, right? So if I'm home on my desktop, I don't have SolidWorks on that. If I'm home on my laptop, I have SolidWorks on that. But it can be slow for me to open your assembly. That could take a long time. So it's nice to be able to see just an image of the work and then also the file, the SolidWorks file. So usually those two things are what I want. That's this homework thing. And then exam and quizzes, 40%. We'll have one exam and then I'll just have quiz parts now and then where I just will put up a part, say model this, turn it in by tomorrow, and we're counting it as a quiz. Right? So you got to model it up. You'll always know ahead of time. It'll be in the calendar and I'll be harping on you that we have a quiz this week. You'll know about it. Okay. No quiz this week. And then we'll have a final project. Okay. And that'll be an assembly. And I'm still deciding what I'm going to make you do. I'm toying with the idea of giving you a design problem and having you do it. So then I would get 17 different designs of this one problem. And it's something that I actually want to build, manufacture, and install. So I'm like, that would be pretty fun. And it's not too complicated, yet you could make it complicated if you wanted to, kind of thing. So I'm toying with that idea. What I've done in the past is just giving you criteria, like you have to model an assembly for me. It's got to be 6 unique parts. It has to have some kind of motion. Look in your kitchen or garage to find something, right? And then you do, and then you model. Some people get all excited over it. Others are like, what can I find that's super easy to do, right? So I like this whole design idea, making you model something. And I'm going to get all these different versions. So then I thought, okay, then we'll all vote on the one we like the most and we'll 3D print it and we'll try and like make it, right? That'd be super fun. So anyway, if you have any ideas on that, you can just send them my way. All right, questions on the syllabus or grading? The grading will be in Blackboard. I'll try to keep it current. I have 7 classes, but I'm gonna really work hard to keep up and keep everything graded quickly so you know what's graded and what's not. If you're gonna turn something in late, just communicate with me and I will take it late. But if you don't communicate with me and you don't turn it in, then you just get a 0 and we move on. You get no 50% this time. Okay. You got to communicate. You got to send me an email that says, I can't get it done in time. My computer stinks or whatever you want to say. You don't even have to tell me why, right? Just let me know it's not coming in on time and when it will come in on, and I'll give you full credit. Good? All right. That's fair. That's super fair. Isn't that fair? Thanks, Corey. Appreciate that. You're on my side, I can tell. The book is this. It's required. We're going to do some stuff out of it, and it's a good resource. And it's not too expensive. Anyone buy it?
I already read it.
How much?
I think I paid $40.
40 bucks?
Used
Yeah.
one.
It's not bad. It's not too bad. It's got good stuff in it, and we do a few exercises out of it. I'm not really big on the step-by-step kind of education where it gives you step-by-step what to do first, what to do second, because we don't model that way. Like, I'm going to model for you. You're going to model for me, and we would definitely model differently. And if I gave you a part to model, I will get 17 different ways that it was modeled, if there's 17 in the room. So there's no one way to model stuff. There's like endless ways to model something. So the whole step-by-step thing, I think is okay once or twice, but then I'm not going to do it. I'm going to give you one of the step-by-steps and I'm going to say, look at the end at the part and try to model it. And if you get stuck, then go see how they did it, right? That's the best way to use that thing. So, all right, that's that. Won't use it for probably 2 weeks. So you have some time to get it. What else? Any other questions about Blackboard? Let's do the weather conversation because we have weather coming. I've done this, I think, every class so far. I forgot one class, but I sent them all in email. If we have bad weather, this is a later class, so it's not really a morning class, so definitely by this start time, you'll know if the college is closed or not. But there is a rave system, RAVE, I didn't put it in here, so you can sign up for and get alerts kind of thing. If there's bad weather and I'm not coming, I'll send an email early, like 5 AM. So check your email, like if the weather's looking bad next Tuesday, just check it before you drive out here. Cause maybe the college is open, but maybe I didn't come. Because I said, you know what, this is stupid. I'm not driving down my icy hill. I live on it kind of like this. It's not worth it. I don't want to make people drive in unsafe conditions. That would tear me apart if somebody got hurt driving to my class when we could just do it online for that day. So check your email before you come if you think there's any kind of bad weather. And next Tuesday looks super cold, but I think the storms can be gone by then, so. Okay, all right. Good. Check your Saints email, which my kid never does, so I'm hoping you do, but you might never do. I think that's it. Submission area, we kind of talked about. You can't see these yet. This is the assignment. We're going to talk about that in a second. We're going to talk about SolidWorks. Yeah, that's good. It's all good. So SolidWorks is in a folder on these PCs. So if you go to a PC, you don't have to go there. I'm just gonna show you some stuff. It's in there. There's a number of different ones. So there's SolidWorks Electrical, and it seems like some students don't like tune into that, and they just click a SolidWorks when they get there, and then they have electrical open, and it's like it looks totally different. So be careful what you open. Right, we don't want SolidWorks Electrical, we want just just SolidWorks, right? Looks just like that. And it's probably in a folder on those stations.
If you download, you can pick which ones it
Yep.
downloads. And
Yep.
just select only the SolidWorks, it makes your life a lot easier.
It does, it makes the download a lot shorter. I mean, you might be thinking, oh, it'd be cool to have electrical, like, and I can look at it. But it's gonna really bog things down, so. Yeah. 23 is what I have. So 23 is what you want. That's gonna be what's compatible. So, like I said, SolidWorks does not play well between versions. They're really bad about that. So if you buy SolidWorks, you spend the 10 grand to get the software. And they go to 24 next year. You have to do it because 23 and 24 don't agree with each other. They don't communicate intentionally by SolidWorks, which is really crappy. Because then you can't exchange files amongst your colleagues or whatever, unless you're all in the same version. So yeah, don't download a different version because then I won't be able to see it and you won't be able to see mine. And yeah, it'll be bad. So 23 is what you want. Good question. All right, so this is the platform, right? And I'm going to show you a few things, not a lot because, you know, you're sitting there not running the system and you're going to be like, oh, wish I could do that, but I can't because I'm not in front of the station. So I'm just going to show you some basic concepts, going to show you what you're going to do for your first assignment, how to get there, and then that'll pretty much be it. And then you could go to a station and do it if you wanted to, right? The other thing is there's quite a few of us in here and I want to help, but I'm just going to help in whatever order people want help in. So if you sit in teams and help each other, that's going to be a lot more efficient than waiting for me. And then when the team gets stuck, that's when you want to grab me, right? And I'll try and get you unstuck. Usually I'm just continuously going if people are running the software in the room. So, you know, there's a lot of getting stuck and getting unstuck. All right, so when you come in, I must have clicked something. Because usually it asks you what you want to do. But if I'm going to go file new. It's going to ask me what kind of units I want to work in. So this is what's a little bit odd about running this academically, because that system might not do this. Like the instructor station will do a little different things than the station there. And then when you download it on your own, it could act a little differently too. Like it might not ask you this, right? Instead, it might go straight to part, assembly, or drawing type of thing. But I'm just gonna go ahead and say I want to be in inches. And then I would also change this to ANSI. So ISO means metric. Right? Anytime you see ISO, that's Systems International, that's the metric system. So why would it say inch, pound, second, which is US, and then the standard would be ISO? That doesn't even make sense. So there's, when the techs at the campus install the software, I don't know if they made choices or not, or whether even thought about it, but ANSI, American National Standards Institute, would be the dimensioning style for the US system. And then the ISO would be the dimensioning style for the metric system. So I'll say okay to that. We're not dimensioning yet. That would be when we make drawings, but it's nice to get the units going correctly. This is what the prompt is you'll probably get right off the bat. So at your home install, it's probably not going to ask you the whole unit thing, right? It'll just do this. And this is saying, do you want to build a part? Do you want to make an assembly? You need parts. You can't just make an assembly out of no parts, right? But we're going to have a bunch of parts here in not too long, and then we could make an assembly. Or do you want to make a drawing? And again, you really need a part to make a drawing. So in the beginning, we were going to make parts. Okay. So it's already chosen. So that's the other thing to clue into. SolidWorks is always trying to help you. You're not going to feel that. You're going to feel like SolidWorks is always trying to not help you. But it's actually trying to help you. If you slow down, students try to run the software fast because they want to be fast. We all want to be fast. We're fast with our thumbs, right? We're fast with our social media. Slow down. It's trying to help you, but you have to see what it's doing. This is a perfect example. It's going to highlight things for you because it thinks it knows what you want to do. So if you're doing extra clicks, that is wasting time and that's being slow, right? So this says, I think you want to do a part, and I'm going to say, okay. So I don't have to click on the thing that's chosen, right? I'll show you a few more instances of that. It does that a lot. So just go slow and see what it's got highlighted and whether you need to input anything or not. This is the setup. This is our modeling space. This is where the part will show up. We don't have a part yet, so it's pretty empty. This is what we call the history tree. At least that's what I call it. They might call it something else. What's really cool about SolidWorks is it shows the history of the part that's being manufactured or made, the part that I'm making. It shows how I made it. So when I get your file, that's why I want your file, because I can look through and see how you made it, which could be a little embarrassing now then to look through your own and see how you made it, because you're like, oh, I started here, and then I erased that, and then down here I added that back in, and it's like, whoa, you're all over the place here. So it's nice though, because you can go back in time and change things. So if you get through a part and you realize you made a mistake, don't start over. You can go back in time and make changes to the part. That can blow the part up. In other words, if I have taken a geometry and made 4 geometries off of that, right? It understands that I use this original geometry. Then I go back in time and just erase that geometry, chop it off. The 4 things that I had based on that geometry explode, which means the whole part explodes. It turns red and yellow. And it's just like, ah. So save. Before you go back in time and do a bunch of monkeying around, save the part. Then you have it saved. Then you go back, it blows up. You just leave the file and go back to your saved file. You're back in function. So we'll do a little bit of going back in time and changing things just so you get kind of the feel for it. All right, across the top is the menu system or toolbars. Why it defaults into SolidWorks CAM trim TBM, I have no idea, because really where we're going to work is these first 2, features and sketches. Okay, the rest of this stuff is like advanced. And we'll do a little simulation. We will not work in MBD. We could do one evaluation just to show it to you, but really features in Sketch, that's it. Like, we're gonna master that. Okay? When you create a part, you make a sketch first. So when you sketch, you literally just sketch in the beginning. So if I'm gonna make this camera thing, right? This is gonna be the part I'm gonna make, or assembly. This is an assembly of parts, correct? Where's that? Under there. So if this is what I'm gonna model, this would be a great, like, this would be a good final project, right? This is the kind of final project you would go for, type of thing. It's not super complicated. This would be like an average, not above average final project, right? But if I'm gonna model this thing, then I'm gonna start maybe with the base. This is gonna be my first part, right? So you think about, so this is called modeling intent. When you think about the part that you want to model and how you're gonna model it. So the way I could model this base is I could draw this rectangle. This would be my sketch, and then I would extrude it this way into a solid. That could be my intent, how I'm gonna go about this, right? The other way I could do it is draw this rectangle and extrude it this way. Kind of the same thing, but it's a little different, right? But then I could draw this rectangle and extrude it this way. So that's called modeling intent. It's good to think about, like, in the beginning, like, whoa, how am I gonna model this? What's my plan here, right? As you get more complicated stuff, like this top piece, right? It really wouldn't make any sense to draw this rectangle and extrude it this way. It's just gonna give you a rectangle, right? A cube. And it really didn't involve this curve. So it makes more sense to draw this profile and then extrude it this way, right? So that's modeling intent, but you do it in just small pieces, right? I'm gonna do just this rectangle, and then I'm gonna think about, like, oh, how am I gonna get this thing on here, right? So you don't do it all at once, just do pieces, all right? So here it is, here's my thing. I'm gonna start with a sketch, that's this thing. So I'm in the sketch tab. SolidWorks has two areas that it works in. You're either sketching or you're not sketching, right? Right now I'm not sketching, I'm not in a sketch. When I click this, and then it says, the yellow is what it's asking me to do. Select a plane in which to create a sketch for the entity. So it's always gonna have some information there for you. If you read it, right? It says select a plane. So this is like where I'm gonna sketch. In 3-dimensional space, a sketch is 2D. It's like on a piece of paper, right? So if I decide I'm gonna, like, draw this, the bottom, then I'm gonna put it on this top plane. So I just choose it, click. SolidWorks is trying to help. So it took the top plane, rotated it, and made it perpendicular to me. Right, y'all saw that? Do it again. Sketch. Top plane, click. Rotates it, puts it perpendicular to me, gives me the origin. So SolidWorks is going to try and keep track of 3-dimensional space. Right? It wants to know where your part is. Use the origin. Start your part at the origin. Then it knows, boom, it's at the origin. And then when you make other parts, you can kind of pull things together easily because it already knows where things are at in space. So I'm in sketch mode. I know I'm in sketch mode because that says what? Exit sketch. So that means I'm in sketch mode. So it's not totally intuitive, but that is what it means. I'm in sketch mode. You got to know whether you're in sketch mode or not. It'll be the first question I ask you when you have a problem. Like, you in sketch mode or not? And they'd be like, I don't know. Like, oh, we got to know if we're in sketch mode or not. So when you're in sketch mode, you can only sketch. You can't do anything else. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to do lines. I could do rectangles. These are all your sketch tools. You'll find them all. Oh, go away. Right in here, sketch tools, right? I'm just going to do a line And literally, you sketch. Now, if I move the mouse slow, you can see that there's a little yellow horizontal line that shows up. That means the line is horizontal. So SolidWorks is doing that all the time. All kinds of stuff is coming to you. You just got to see it. A lot of things are coming to you at the mouse location. What did the mouse turn into when I hit the line? A pencil. Yeah. So that's just all indicators of like what's going on. And you can see that the line is highlighted, right? Meaning it's active. If I hit escape, the line's gone. Am I in sketch mode or not? I'm still in sketch mode. Yep. That just means I'm going to go again. I can do something else. Maybe I could do a circle, right? So again, hit escape. That gets me out of it because I didn't place that circle, right? And there's no buttons chosen. So I'll go back into line, choose it. Gonna come over. I'm not looking at the little numbers. See the little numbers? I don't care. You're in sketch mode, doesn't matter. What you want is you want it kind of proportional. So this thing's kind of a rectangle. If I move the mouse slow, you see the dotted line show up? Yeah, again, SolidWorks is trying to help. Like if you just go slow, I get two lines like that. That's horizontal and vertical to where I want to go, right? So I click there and I click there. So what I have here is two horizontal lines, two vertical lines. That's good, right? If you sketch like this and you just don't pay attention to it, that's a little extreme, sorry. I'll see how close I can get here. I'll zoom in. Roller mouse does the zoom thing, right? There. So I got a vertical line there. That's not vertical. There's no tag to it. These are called relationships, right? So just be aware of them. If you want it horizontal and vertical, then slow down and use your little snaps that automatically show up. That's my base. I just kind of did it proportional, right? Everyone good? Sketching. No dimensions involved. Just sketch it, right? Then you size it. After you sketch it, you size it. Keep your sketches simple. That's pretty simple, right? Even if it was a complicated part like this, just keep it simple. Do simple pieces of whatever you're trying to model. All right, then we do smart dimension. I'm only gonna do a little more and then I'm gonna be done because you're gonna be like, oh, I wish I could do this with you kind of thing. Smart dimension is how we size our sketch. So we do want to size it after you get done sketching. When you click on that, you can see the mouse changed, right? Got a little dimension thing in there. So you can do this by choosing a line, it'll dimension that line. So if I go and take the mouse here, I can choose that line and it'll pull that dimension off of it. Okay. You can also choose a point and then another point. So there's going to be pros and cons to doing it two different ways, but you should know there's two ways. And it's very dependent on where you click. If you click in here, it's going to grab that line. Okay. You can grab another line. And now you get between the two lines. So there's a number of ways to dimension. You can pick 2 points. You can pick 2 lines. You can pick 1 line. Whatever works. In this case, I'd probably just pick a line and set it. Once you place it, then you can put a number in. Because it's what? Highlighted. It's blue. That means you can just type. You don't have to go click on it. It knows you want to change this number. It knows 4.16 is wrong. That's what it knows, right? So then I would take this and I'd have to measure it, right? And I'll say I measured it and it's, what do you think? 4. It's 4 inches. So I'm gonna type in 4 and hit enter. Okay. So what it did was it automatically proportionalized the whole sketch, believe it or not. I could have typed in 400, right? I can 2-click on it and type in 400. And it's gonna pull it out. Here, I'll do this. I'm just backing up. All right, now it should do it. Watch. It's doing inches. Remember, I did inches in the beginning. Yeah, and that's down here. Lower right. Good question. I should have pointed that out. Inch pound second. So it's thinking inches. If it says ISO here, then it's thinking millimeters. Those are really tiny, right? But notice what it did here. I put 400 in, it scaled my sketch. Right? I put 4 in before and it didn't change its size. And now I put 400 in, didn't change its size like that I saw. But it is changing the size proportionally to whatever that first dimension is. Now, when I dimension this, it's going to be large, 183. That makes sense? Again, SolidWorks is trying to help you. So I'm going to back up and go back to my 4. I think that was it. Yeah. So I'll put 4 in there. I'll put 3 in here. That's wrong. I'll put 2.5. I heard 2.5. So notice I can just 2-click on the dimension, right? I can just 2-click on the dimension. It's highlighted. SolidWorks does this a lot. It highlights things for you, which means you just can type. You don't have to click on it. That's an extra click. No. Don't need that. 2.6. All right. I got my base, right? And how thick is it? Jorge, how thick is that?
1 inch.
Half an inch. I agree. Half an inch. Look at it. It's got. Anyone notice the taper? Can you see the taper from there? It's got taper. It's like the top is skinnier than the bottom. So that's very engineerish. We want to be super accurate. Like if you're going to model this, it should have that taper in there. Like that's important. All right. So we're done sketching. Simplest sketch you'll ever make. I actually think this might be part of your lab is to build a block of some kind. The things you look for when you're sketching, I'm going to undo back 1 dimension. There. So here I'm not done dimensioning, right? And there is a blue line and it is underdefined. We want our sketches defined, fully defined. It's important. Can you make every sketch fully defined? Sometimes it becomes a battle, like you're at war with SolidWorks to define the damn thing. Simple ones are pretty easy to define. So you're looking for a sketch that is all black and fully defined down here. Right? That's a good thing. Try to get your sketches fully defined. Now we're going to extrude it. That's in features. And extrude makes a solid. There is extrude cut that makes a hole. These tools are grayed out if they're not available. In other words, I don't have a part yet, so I can't really cut a hole in something when I don't have a part. So that's why all of this is gray. It's not available. I don't have a part to do that to it. Okay. So if something's grayed out, then there's not enough built to get it done. You got to build more kind of thing. Right. But I can extrude. I could have revolved this thing. I could spin around in a circle. If you hold your mouse over a tool, it'll like tell you all about it. That's cool. Honestly, that's really cool. It's like a little tutorial that pops up and you can watch it. So if I put my mouse there and leave it, I don't need Troy. I can just get educated from SolidWorks. It's pretty cool. It's like going through a whole thing. All right. That's what we want to do right there. As soon as I click on it, it rotates it. It makes a guess as to how much I want to extrude it because SolidWorks is trying to help me. And then it also highlights that guess because it knows that's not right. Right? But it's still trying to help, which is cool. And what did we say it was? 0.5? Yep.
But it had the bit.
It does have a taper, so we can put that in there too. But I put the 0.5 in and you can look at it. If you're doing design, like if you're not copying something, then you can keep tweaking it. Notice it's still highlighted. The 0.5, right? You see that? So I could go 0.6. No, 0.4. No, 0.4. 4, 5, right? You can just keep tweaking it until you like it. And that's what the green check mark is. Up there, it's like, boom, I like it. So this is like a preview window where you can preview everything and make changes. I could add taper to it. That's what this is. Right? So they call it draft. So I could click on that. I could give it 1 degree draft. I can draft it outward, wonk, or I can not draft it outward. That would just leave it unclicked. 1 doesn't seem like enough. Go 5. There, now you can kind of see the taper, right? Hundreds of things you can do on each step. I'm gonna hit the check and I'm gonna get a part. Right? That's the beginning. Sketch. Dimension your sketch. Extrude, you have a part. I would keep going, right? I would then start to work on this thing, and then this part might be done, although there looks like there's some kind of relief on the bottom and some kind of pad. If I wanted all that detail, I would just have to keep going, right? Keep adding to this part. You add to the part exactly like you built the first part. You sketch. So for example, if I wanted to add this ear thing, right? I might, well, I would do this differently, but I'll show you this way because this is kind of fun. And then I'll be done. Sketch. I'm going to sketch on this surface. Notice I didn't get the 3 coordinate thing because now I have a part. So it knows, oh, you're going to have to choose a surface on the part to do more. So I'm going to sketch on this surface. Flips it, rotates it. That's cool. Throw a rectangle in here. Not at the center of some size. Smart dimension it. 0.5, maybe. 0.25, maybe. That's close. It's not black. The rectangle is sized. Why would it still be blue? Yeah, we don't know where it's at on the block. I didn't position it. So I need to position it from here to here. So it can be not just geometry, but it can be position that keeps a something or other from being fully defined. I'll scoot it over a little bit, and it's not centered up, but good enough for now. And then I'll extrude it, and we'll go up 0.75, right? And now I have more part. I gotta chop this top off, yeah.
How would you make it right?
So we have a number of ways to do that. Oh, so we can go back in time, right? So check this out. Here's the extrusion 1. That's this one. If I click on it, it kind of makes it blue, right? If I click on this one, that's the second extrusion. So you can kind of see what I did first and second. If I take this little triangle and open it up, there's the sketch for the first extrusion. Here's the sketch for the second extrusion, right? So this, I'd want to edit it if I wanted it in the center. So to edit it, you click on it and you go right there to edit sketch. And now I'm back to sketching. So I've gone back in time, right? And we'll kind of get that. So the question is like, what do I do if I really wanted it in the middle? I'm going to come over here and I'm going to draw a construction line that is right down the center. So the construction line is this thing called a center line. It's just to help me locate things, not to model with, right? Now I want this thing like lined up with this thing. So in order to do that, this is a constraint. It's not going to move if I leave this here. I'm going to get rid of that. Now it's back to blue and I can move it around, right? So I could just move it. It's kind of a weird, but I can go and grab it and like drag it around. It's not letting me. So that means, and this is kind of more of an advanced thing, there's these things called relations. So relations are, that's a relation, but it's automatically put in, but I can put them in, right? So we're not ready for this yet, but I'll show it to you. So selected entities, I'm going to go this thing, this thing, this thing, and this thing, right? And then the relation is going to be from like that point to this line, and I'm gonna make it coincident. So I moved it based on 2 points, and I made those 2 points coincident. You're gonna love relations when we get there. We're not gonna do this for a while, but that's how you would do it. I can exit the sketch. And then I can rebuild. There's a little stop green light up here, rebuild. And I'm back to there. Okay, so that's just a little fun. All right, so what you're gonna do is you should play around with this a little bit, right? Get in, make a part, and just kind of like struggle with it a little. But then where are they? Whooped up. No, no, no. Sorry. I don't think they're here. Ah, they're in the question mark. It's called tutorials. Okay. They're really good. So I'm kind of taking my own thunder, but the tutorials in SolidWorks are excellent. And the one, you're gonna do one as your first lab. I don't know what this thing is. Go away. Why do I want that? I don't want that. Oh. All right, so under the question mark is tutorials. Used to be here. So they did move that on me. In tutorials, you'll see there's all SolidWorks tutorials. That'll list them. Here's all of them. You're gonna do lesson 1 parts. And it's gonna walk you through building a part. So it's pretty nice. It's kind of what I just did, right? But you'll be able to go slower and just work through the tutorial. And it'll show you some unique ways of doing stuff. Let me show you how it works and then we can be done. So when you click on it, the first thing it does is it's gonna show you what you're gonna build. This is what you're gonna build, right? And then you can go to the next topic and it's gonna like talk about saving and how to save. And then you can go to next topic and then it shows you what you're gonna do. So if you want, you can just try to do that. Like try to make a rectangle of that size and extrude it 30, right? If you can't get that done and you want the step-by-step, then you go to the next and it's gonna actually tell you how to do it, right? You go into Sketch, use the rectangle tool, set it up. The nice thing is if you can't find a tool, you can click on it and it'll flash it at you. See it flashing? That's kind of cool, I gotta say. AutoCAD has nothing like this, just so you know. So these tutorials work pretty well and they're gonna show you different ways to draw stuff. It's true, AutoCAD sucks. Well, it sucks in general, but.
I was trying to figure out the all of that, like, you have to-
We're gonna play with SolidWorks. All right, everyone know where that's at now? Sorry, I couldn't find it super fast. It's right there in the question mark and it's tutorials. Okay, and you're gonna do all tutorials and lesson 1 parts. That's your big project. Your big project is to get the SolidWorks downloaded if you want it. And then do the tutorial lesson 1 parts. You're gonna save it as a part file, which is the normal save routine, save as. So if I wanted to save this to the desktop, not part 1, don't call it part 1. Put your last name in the file name. So I would go Donaldson. And then I'm a dot guy. You don't have to put dots. You can put spaces. And this could be like lab 1. Or I think I gotta call it assignment 1, A1. I forget, whatever I call it, right? So this is gonna make a part file, a SLD PRT file. So that's a SolidWorks part file. Same. If I want a PDF, you should be able to go save as, pull this down, and then go find, you could do a JPEG, that's an image. Anyone see PDF? PNG, PRT. Not there? Oh, there it is. Yeah, so you could do that one. Right? And it's gonna do whatever the image is, so you might wanna get this like, positioned and rotated in just the right spot and then take a picture of it. So, save. So that would be two files, the two files. One's gonna be a PDF, this one. That's what it looks like. Okay, so I want those two things, the PRT file and then a PDF of whatever you create. Good? All right, good luck. Let me know how your install goes if you're doing an install. And then see you online Friday. Or come visit me Friday in here. Whatever you want, man. Good luck. Become one with SolidWorks.